Greetings. Today is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia speaking. In this video, I will be talking about cyclonic activity in the Atlantic. Specifically, we will discuss two areas we will be monitoring over the next few days due to the possibility of tropical development, and this video is of special interest for the state of Florida, the northern Bahamas, and the eastern Caribbean. And before talking about these areas, I wanted to mention that yesterday, Hurricane Alda was crossing over Bermuda with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour, that is, a Category 2 hurricane, and it now continues moving northeast and will eventually dissipate over the waters of the northern Atlantic. So, as I mentioned in the previous video, the Atlantic should remain active for at least the next 2 weeks, and the areas of interest over the next 7 days will be the southeastern United States region, particularly the state of Florida, and the eastern Caribbean, since a tropical wave will be moving off Africa and interacting with the intertropical convergence zone, and it is possible that we may see the development of a tropical depression in about 5 to 7 days. But first, let's talk about the low-pressure system that is located in the northern Bahamas, which will be moving over Florida, bringing significant rainfall to the eastern and southeastern counties of the peninsula. If we zoom in on the infrared satellite image, we can see that the remnants of a frontal system are stationary just east of Florida, and a low pressure has developed over the northern Bahamas. Here, conditions will be marginally favorable for the low pressure to strengthen during the next 48 hours, and for this reason the National Hurricane Center is maintaining a 10% chance of tropical depression development just before moving into Florida. And although we will be paying attention to this area, the development chances are currently low. For example, the ensemble members of the American model, basically none of them develop a tropical depression. And while some members of the European model do show the development of a short-lived tropical depression or tropical storm, only 5% of the members indicate tropical depression development. We see the same in the ensemble of Google's artificial intelligence model, where although some members do develop a tropical depression just east of Florida, it is only 5% of the ensemble. So this tells us that the chances of development remain low at the moment, but we definitely cannot rule out the formation of a tropical depression in the next 48 hours. Regardless of whether or not a tropical cyclone forms, significant rainfall is expected for eastern and southeastern Florida. The latest run of the American model does develop a tropical depression on Saturday morning as it moves into eastern Florida and crosses the peninsula during the weekend, and although the system remains weak, it would bring significant rainfall across the region. Another model showing low pressure development is the UK model, which suggests perhaps a tropical depression forming near the city of Miami during the morning hours of Saturday. And according to the latest run of the American model, look at the rainfall totals expected over the next 3 days. Northern Bahamas and some eastern Florida counties could accumulate between 4 and up to 8 inches, and in some isolated areas more than 10 or 12 inches could fall. So this definitely represents a flooding risk for eastern Florida and the northern Bahamas. But I want to emphasize that there is no significant threat to Florida other than rainfall and some localized flooding that may occur in the eastern and southeastern parts of the state. I will continue to monitor this low pressure, and if necessary, I will update this forecast. Now then, let's move on to the tropical Atlantic, where we will be monitoring a strong tropical wave moving off Africa this weekend. And although historically the tropical Atlantic tends to remain quiet in October, everything indicates that we may see the development of another tropical cyclone by the middle of next week. As we anticipated, yesterday the National Hurricane Center marked this area with a 20% chance of development during the next 7 days, and as you will see in the coming minutes, it is likely that these chances will gradually increase in the coming days. Conditions in the tropical Atlantic appear favorable for a tropical depression to form. First, notice in this image, highlighted in yellow and reddish colors, that ocean surface temperatures remain above normal between the Caribbean and Africa. And since we are in a favorable phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation over the next 7 days, wind shear across the tropical Atlantic is expected to remain below normal. In response, the models indicate the possible development of a tropical depression or tropical storm in about 5 to 7 days. For example, most of the American model ensemble members develop a tropical cyclone. And since this development would result from the interaction of a tropical wave with the intertropical convergence zone, there is some uncertainty mainly because we still don't know exactly where that low pressure will form, and that could have significant implications for its future track. As an example, the members that show faster development farther east are the ones keeping the track toward the west-northwest, taking the future cyclone away from the Caribbean. However, the members that develop more slowly and farther west show a track that eventually moves the system into the eastern Caribbean. And if we look at the European model ensemble, we also see considerable uncertainty about where the low pressure would develop, with different scenarios, some having faster development and a west-northwest track, while others with slower development have a much farther west trajectory. Meanwhile, In the Google AI model ensemble, there is better consensus on where the center of circulation would develop, showing a west-northwest track that takes the future cyclone very close to the northeastern Caribbean. And looking at the operational models, the American model in its latest run develops a tropical depression just east of the Lesser Antilles between Wednesday and Thursday, and the European model in its latest run shows a strong tropical wave approaching the Lesser Antilles between Wednesday and Thursday of next week. The German model also shows a strong tropical wave moving near the northeastern Caribbean, as does the UK model. So regarding the tropical wave we will be monitoring, there is still uncertainty about exactly where and when the low pressure will develop, which means we just have to monitor calmly and see how the projections evolve. And although at the moment we don't know with precision how close or far it may pass from the Caribbean, we definitely must recognize that the area of possible development could represent a future threat for the Eastern Caribbean. But again, everyone stay calm. There are still many days to watch carefully. Well, here at Hurricane Info I will continue monitoring what happens with the tropical wave and the low pressure near Florida, and I will keep you informed of any changes in the projections. But before I go, I wanted to ask you to please give a like to this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you receive notifications when I upload new videos. For our followers in Western Mexico, later this afternoon I will record a video to discuss cyclonic activity in the Eastern Pacific. See you later.